The day of the Lord coming. Now with hugs, now with peace will fight. False prophet talk smooth, but the righteous burn hotter. Let's bring the heat. Is that 2 Peter 5? Truth never taught. Element melt, word in the pot. He coming back, not sweet but die. Heaven roll back, skies on fire. False teachers talk, we expose the lie. Law in my heart, spirit my wire. The righteous ride, wicked expire. Oh yeah, this that 2 Peter 5. They stole lies in the temple hall, told the people sin is still ball. But Peter warned they doom been sealed. Chains of darkness, truth revealed. Noah preached while the world play games. Fire coming next, remember the flames. Sodom burned, La belly fled. That the same heat coming for the dead. Marker laughs and where's your God? But the flood came fast, they fraud. Now it's 5-time earth reserve. Every time they lie finna get served. Jumping day like a thief at night. Righteous glow with eternal light. He coming quick, keep coming white. The world sleeping, we in the fire. World in the pie. He coming back, not sweet but die. Heaven roll back, skies on fire. False teachers talk, we expose a liar. Law in my heart, spirit my wire. The righteous rise, wicked expire. Oh yeah, it's that 2 Peter 5. They love pleasure more than faith. Mock the truth but can't escape. They walking after lust and hate. I full of sin, that's their fate. While the just man suffer, stand tall. We wait on new heaven, new earth that call. Element burns, fall. Prophecy real, no myth at all. Every word revealed by flame. No more shame, no more game. The day of the Lord, judgment reign. Ain't no peace with them that profane. So I move clean, watch and pray. Keep my sword sharp every day. The world pass, but you gon' stay. He coming back with fighters left. The day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. The heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Does that 2 Peter 5? Truth never die. Elements world in a pie. He coming back, not sweet but die. Heaven roll back, skies on fire. False teachers talk, we expose a liar. Law in my heart, spirit my wire. The righteous rise, wicked expire. It's that 2 Peter 5. New heaven, new earth. Righteousness reign. New heaven, new earth. The wicked had their seed. New heaven, new earth. Now the kingdom burns clean. All praises to the Most High.
Father, you had a plan for my life, but this world wanted me to choose wrong over right. I strayed so far, was nowhere in sight, but you came to find me from darkness to light. Father, you had a plan for my life, but this world wanted me to choose wrong over right. I strayed so far, was nowhere in sight, but you came to find me from darkness to light.
Hallelujah. Yeah, I'm glad these scars didn't wash off of my skin. It's evidence some will never believe where I have been. Misguided from birth, taken from the seraphim and placed where the weed is laced and they shake from heroin. My life's purpose was perverted by people around me. Their concept of success had begun to confound me. Said I needed more, like I wasn't blessed when they found me. Capping my head up, get your bread up, start crossing some boundaries. Facade rising to the top, the real me was drowning. Told me to get it out the mud, or the mud I'ma get found in. Had me thinking the streets was my destiny. Had me envisioning police arresting me, and me resting in peace. And what a man thinks is who he is, most definitely. Sticks and stones break bones, words were not a weapon to me. Until I learned words was some of the greatest weaponry. Preferably a weapon of choice by God especially. Psalm 23, the Father sent his word as a shepherd to catch me and set me free. Inside the blessing was a lesson for me. I read the screw tape letters and was amazed. The devil plays with God's children in many ways. Instrumental when I own decay through self-hate. But like Peter, we shall not be prevailed by hell's gates. The food and water poison, Father providing escape. The shows and music poison, fast and pray the curse will break. Ignore the propaganda and lower the murder rate. Let Messiah show you the way and never desert the faith. Devil tried to blind my eyesight, my heart ice. Wanted me to catch the innocent on sight and smite. Wanted me to rot in a box cell block full of strife. But the Father had a plan for my life.
Father, you had a plan for my life. Father, you had a plan for my life. But this world wanted me to choose wrong over right. I strayed so far, was nowhere inside. But you came to find me from darkness to light.
Definitely got to run this back one more time. This song really touched me, y'all. This song is me all day. I'm going to play this, then I'm going to get started again. All praises.
Father, you had a plan for my life. But this world wanted me to choose wrong over right. I strayed so far, was nowhere inside. But you came to find me from darkness to light. Father, you had a plan for my life. But this world wanted me to choose wrong over right. I strayed so far, was nowhere inside. But you came to find me from darkness to light.
Hallelujah. Yeah, I'm glad these scars didn't wash off of my skin. It's evident some will never believe where I have been. Misguided from birth, taken from the seraphim and placed where the weed is laced and they shake from heroin. My life's purpose was perverted by people around me. Their concept of success had begun to confound me. Said I needed more, like I wasn't blessed when they found me. Capping my head up, get your bread up, start crossing some boundaries. Facade rising to the top, the real me was drowning. Told me to get it out the mud, or the mud I'ma get found in. Had me thinking the streets was my destiny. Had me envisioning police arresting me, and me resting in peace. And what a man thinks is who he is, most definitely. Sticks and stones break bones, words were not a weapon to me. Until I learned words was some of the greatest weaponry. Preferably a weapon of choice by God especially. Psalm 23, the Father sent his word as a shepherd to catch me and set me free. Inside the blessing was a lesson for me. I read the screw tape letters and was amazed. The devil plays with God's children in many ways. Instrumental when I own decay through self-hate. defeated, we shall not be prevailed by hell's gates. The food and water poison, Father provide an escape. The shows and music poison, fast and pray the curse will break. Ignore the propaganda and lower the murder rate. Let Messiah show you the way and never desert the faith. Devil tried to blind my eyesight, my heart ice. Wanted me to catch the innocent on sight and smite. Wanted me to rot in the box, cell block full of strife. But the Father had a plan for my life.
Father, you had a plan for my life. Father, you had a plan for my life. But this world wanted me to choose wrong over right. I strayed so far, was nowhere inside. But you came to find me from darkness to light.
Shalom, family. All praises to Yah. Definitely appreciate my brother KG. Shout out to him for sending me the songs that I've been trying to get on here. Yeah, that song touched me when I first heard it 2 days ago. It just come out, and I identify with him. I listen to a lot of this brother's music, and yeah, I listen. I can relate to his music. To me, that's real hip hop, true hip hop. Definitely praise y'all for that. Shalom, brother KG. Shalom, Yohanan, sister Yahudi Blue, auntie WHYDHA. Who else is in there? I know a lot of our Israelites sleep this morning. Brother Jason, shalom. And everybody else in the back listening. Before we get started, family, let me tell you how the Most High work, man. So y'all know that this video I'm showing, I've been talking about other people talking about this particular map and talking about it's not true. You know, I got the map on my wall behind me, saying that map is fake. That's not dealing with Judah and all that. And you know, you got these gatekeepers, faithful for God. He has people come on his platform and only thing he wants to do, prove you're Israelite, prove you're Israelite. And my thing is, y'all prove who is Israelite. We not is, who are. You know, and it's just a shame for how he is. I seen Brother Jedediah on there, on his platform. He didn't give Jedediah a chance to say nothing. Kept trying to correct him like he was a scholar and, you know, interrupt him. Then he said he was going to give him time to talk. He still cut him off. So Jedediah left. Then he went and made a video like he ran him off. But if you listen to the video, I only watched 4 minutes of him, and he wouldn't let Jedediah get nothing out of his mouth. Nothing. And, you know, let me correct you. Hold on. Wait. Then I'm going to let you talk. I'm going to let them. So this dude is very arrogant and knows nothing. You put him on a neutral platform, he look like an idiot. And, you know, I hope he listening to this small channel so he can come over here, because I raise my energy to people I feel, and my spirit on them, my spirit against them, and my discernment against them. You know, sometimes you can read between these people. It's hate in their heart. It ain't about because you respectfully disagree. It's about hate. And I've watched a lot of this dude debating. He only wants to deal with camps. He don't mess with well-studied Israelites, you know, because prove you're an Israelite, you would have to sit down and watch a whole breakdown with me, because I'm going to give you a bunch of sources, a bunch of migration patterns, a bunch of customs and traditions that none of the 1948ers have. And so it doesn't take a quick 10-minute talk and run into Deuteronomy 28:68. I will show you historical sources that we are the people. And I have an issue when people try to think this is a racist thing. And, and it's my family as well, my family and y'all family and other people's family. This is not about race. We're not a hate group. Yeah, do we have some Israelites that hate groups? Yeah, they are. We can't deny that. But all of us are not the same. So please stop lumping us under the same umbrella. This map you claiming that is fake and translation error or anything wrong, it is what it is. We have outside sources and books that talk about these empires and who we was. We were kings and queens. We had a lot of money. We did a lot of trade. We were in these areas. Before 740 AD, these Europeans wasn't migrating in these areas. This is not about race. This is about the truth. We've been taught wrong in these schools about our history. And that's why we so far along now, the average black person don't even care nothing about this. I don't care nothing about that Hebrew Israelite nonsense because we so far gone. We so far gone, we don't even care about the truth. And then our Christianity brothers and sisters is helping try to keep this awakening. You can't stop it, but you're trying to be gatekeepers with these people, not realizing we are the people of the book. It's this is the only these gatekeepers I see. You guys have debunked every source that came out. All these books, all these people that were there studying these people that y'all ain't never been to Africa, y'all never even been to Israel, none of these countries that even doing your own research, but yet still I see you guys debunking. Think you debunking scholars like Tudor Parford, other anthropologists like Remy, Rabbi Demoda. These dudes done went to school and done been to these countries. And you guys ain't never been nowhere but right in America, but you guys have debunked at every source there is. And then these old anthropologists that been saying who we are, y'all been debunking them. Now, this guy that invented this map and done this map, I don't even think you dudes did the research on who he was. Do you think, as sharp as this dude was that I'm going to show y'all, family, using critical thinking, that this guy will make an error? Do you think that this guy, when they show you his credentials, see, I read. I don't run the Google. Wikipedia is a good source too, y'all. You go to Wikipedia, they'll give you all the books and sources on stuff that you want to research. But you got to do the footwork. You got to get these books. Some of them in PDF, some of them you got to buy, and you got to read them. You got to read them. That's why I dare one of them to come up here with me, because before I get on this stage, I'm going to read everything first. I'm not going to take inserts of this and inserts of that. You're going to have to give me time, because when I present stuff, I'm going to present something that I've read entirely. That's why when I do this Zadokite teaching, when I'm done, it's going to take me a couple of months, but I'm going to read everything so I can expose that doctrine. So I want to say this. I'm not on here to combat anyone, I'm here to defend our truth. We are the biblical Hebrew Israelites. Over 70% of them slave ships, I believe, and I show that were Israelites. Do I believe every person was on them ships with Israelites? No. But I believe this also. I believe over 60% of African Americans, according to DNA, has Igbo blood. That's a high percentage. A lot of us have Bantu. I have Bantu as well in me, but I have a high percentage of Igbo. All right. So all you guys talking about, you debunk this, you gatekeepers, vocab alone, faithful for God, the rest of you Christian apologists, you need to do some more research. Go study take some anthropology courses. I'm taking some. I'm behind too in class, but I'm taking some and I'm learning. You guys need to do some more research instead of acting like you scholars. You're nothing but Facebook scholars, and you're not looking at the sources. You're being biased because you got hate in your heart, or you're either racist. And if you're not racist, you're being biased because you don't want to see that we the chosen people because we've been lied to, and people take that as racism because we say we the chosen people. And then when we look in the Garden of Eden and we look at all these areas, my brother K. Judah, shout out to him, does put all these maps on here. Y'all look and y'all ignore that this is Africa. Like these Europeans been over there all the whole time. We so distorted that we can't even talk about race. Soon as black people say we the people in this, oh, you racist. It's not about skin color. They took Jesus and painted him the way they want, and y'all just ignore everything. We the most I don't care black people on the planet. We want to be in the clubs. We want to do karaoke. We want to do all this. And then when you speak to somebody, say, you know what he told? Oh, I don't want to hear that Hebrew Israelite hate group, this and that. All y'all do is hate, putting us under the same umbrella. My ministry does not teach that. We have Gentiles in our community, whether they Caucasian, whether they black, because Gentile does not just mean white people. You people need to do research and stop thinking that it's just white people. We have Hamites, melanated people that are Gentiles according to the Bible. And so I say all this out of love to do more research, study our culture, read books. Just don't take this in face value. And before I get started, I want to shout out to my brother K. Judah. We've been building behind the scenes. I'm saying this respectfully to everybody. Me and K. Judah have been talking now. I can't remember how long since I met K. Judah. I know it's been over a year. And we talk all the time on the phone about our doctrines. We have differences on certain doctrines. We respect each other. We love each other. But none of y'all, I don't know a lot of y'all in here. None of y'all, please, do not try to turn me and K. Judah against each other because we may disagree on certain doctrines. And I believe that some of y'all are. Some of y'all are. And if you want to leave here and don't want to subscribe to our channel, I'm okay with that. But that will never happen. I would never go against my brother on whatever he teaches and what I teach. We'll talk and say, hey, you know, this is like here, I little agree, I this, I don't, and that's it. I would never try to get on a platform and prove him wrong. I could tell him behind the scenes respectfully. Now, my position and his position are two different things. I respect him. If somebody asks him to do a teaching and it's something contrary to what I teach, I got to respect that because they asked him. He's a teacher. He's supposed to do that. This is vice versa. And same thing for Brother Tim. I don't know Brother Tim. So I can't speak a lot about him. I respect him. I respect his work. But please do not ask me about Brother Tim. And I'm saying this out of respect and love. I don't know him. I never talked to him. I see his work. I've been in, and I'm pretty sure he can say the same thing about me. I have nothing bad to say about him, what he teaches, none of that. I think some of the stuff that I've seen is good work. I've seen everything he does. I don't know his position on certain stuff, but me and K. Judah knows our positions on a lot of things, and we agree on a lot more things. And there's some we don't. So please do not come in this chat trying to distort us, because I will tell y'all this. Before I do that with my brother, go get your teacher, go get what he teaches, go get your husband, and go get what he teaches. And this is all respect. I ain't arrogant because I'm a student, and I will go live with anything we teach. Anything we teach, I will schedule it, and we will go live about it. Respectfully. It can't be about hate, about you think you know everything. Everybody think a disagreement is a debate or an argument. We're not debating. We're having live discussions so we can edify the crowd and edify each other. So I'm built for this, y'all. Don't think I was not offended with the questions. The video was made for the Christian apologists, but it kind of went left. But I'm glad it happened because now I see people's position. A lot of y'all don't even know what my position is on this marriage thing. So we're going to do a teaching on it, and you see my position. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If you don't know the Torah that well, if you don't know the Torah that well, if you don't know Isaiah that well, if you don't know the Dead Sea Scrolls that well, if you don't know our customs and traditions that well, you need to be quiet and listen, then make an assumption and listen to the whole teaching, then say, okay, I don't agree with this. I don't agree with that. But I'm going to show you some laws dealing with other wives. All right? And I'm going to show you some sources dealing with other wives. And I'm going to show you some customs and traditions. And then you just make a decision. You don't have to believe Barawak. You don't have to take what I teach and take K. Judah what he teaches and put us against each other. Just look at the sources, look at the scriptures, and y'all make y'all mind up. But don't try to turn me and K. Judah against each other, because it's not going to happen. I'm not going to pick like that. That's not me. That's not my custom. That's my brother. So please, y'all come from these other channels and all that. Let's just respect each other and walk in love. It's okay to disagree. Y'all lucky my former teacher went on here. Y'all get off the channel, wouldn't even, because he'll go in. I know him. He would go in hard about it. And he wouldn't care. But we two different people. I'm more humble. I could have went yesterday. We were on 3 hours. I could have took y'all to some scriptures to really have y'all think. But I said, you know what? We'll be on here 5 or 6 hours before I get done with everything. So I just let it go. And I didn't want to point. And then I put one verse on the community channel to show y'all. After we came out of Exodus, I kept saying mixed multitude people. We came out with mixed multitudes and timelines. We come out of Egypt. It wasn't just all Israelites. That's why y'all was confused there. I asked, was a Hebrew or Israelite? I asked, were they Gentiles? Then I asked, coming out of Egypt, what type of people other than Israelites came out? It wasn't just all Israelites. Then I put that verse in the community YouTube, and I sent it to a couple of people. That verse was the Egyptian father, and they was in the camp with Moses a year to 2 years. My timeline might be off. After coming out of Egypt, that means they were practicing in the midst of the camp. And guess who was in the midst? Yeah. But look, I see K. Judah's points too. Don't get it twisted. We talk, and I see his position. Y'all might need to go back and ask him his position. I'll let him tell y'all that, because I see his position, and he's right. He's right what he's talking about. He's right. But y'all don't know my position, because you never heard NHIF or NHIT thoroughly teach on this. So you're going to hear my position on it now. And my position has been this. One thing about this, you can go back and rewind the tape from yesterday. I said, and I stand on this, I don't see if it's a sin if the woman of the Gentile nation, not today, a Caucasian, any Gentile period, other than an Israelite, if she's keeping the commandment, statutes, and laws, and a man's keeping commandment, statutes, and laws, vice versa, they are a righteous Gentile, and you can marry them. Our seeds are important. I'm going to state this. Do I think we should stay with our own people, and this is not racist? Please do not take. Yes, I do, because we don't want to just white out our seed or take our seed to another nation of Arabs, any other thing. Every race does that. Every race wants that. But if you got one that's righteous and y'all get married and join together and y'all have kids, y'all both keeping the law, our cultures are different. They have to be on our culture. And I'm approving scripture that if they are in our culture, we can deal with them. And I'm approving scripture, if they are foreign women, we can capture them and deal with them with the war. Y'all have to read the Torah. There's laws on taking foreign women, capturing them, and they have to go through a purification law in order for you to have them. And if you don't want them, you could put them away, but you cannot make them a slave. That's a law. So y'all getting bits and pieces of what I'm talking about. But when I put this all together, you're going to have to look at things in a different manner. So please, y'all, stop. Y'all seen a lot of Yashai. And I'm saying this out of respect for him. He's my teacher. But don't sleep on Brock, because I refuse to be in a teaching mode all the time. I am not what you think I am. And I'm going to dot all my I's and cross all my T's. And I'm going to show stuff a lot of people don't show. And I ain't talking about fighting for this, because please do not think that I'm trying to push this intermarriage thing. But we can't run from what the text say. And we can't run from what the sources say. So again, I say this out in all love. I say this out in respect. I don't, and I'm not upset. I'm just passionate about this because I don't think some of y'all in here, y'all are knowledgeable, but I don't think y'all looked at everything. There's going to be stuff that you're going to have to ask yourself, okay, well, what does this mean? If it's that, ask yourself this and go back and research some of the stuff I'm saying right now. What does it mean if I go to war with you and you a Gentile and y'all got wives? What does it mean I can take them and I'm paraphrasing. If they look attractive to me, I can take them and have them and make them do a purification before I sleep with them. What does that mean? And they're foreign women. They're going to have to turn to our laws and keep our customs. This is book. And if you don't know it, go back and read. Don't read a couple of verses and think you understand and try to find an angle. Read the whole thing. Then, not only that, then go to the Dead Sea Scrolls and read the same instructions. Some of y'all are not even familiar with the Dead Sea Scrolls. A lot of these communities are just becoming knowledgeable with the Dead Sea Scrolls. So I'm not doing this to try to be arrogant and act like I know everything. I'm doing this because I have ate a lot of this studying and done a lot of research and then read a lot of books. So I agree with my brother K. Judah on his position. I agree we should stay with our own people. That doesn't make me racist. But I won't rule out if somebody in this congregation gets a Gentile woman, I don't care what color it is, y'all need to look up the word Gentile. Any type of Gentile, white, green, black, and she's keeping our commandments, statutes, and laws, I'm not going to get in the way. Let y'all deal with them. If they're wrong and it's a sin, let y'all deal with them. I want to have a clean heart, and I'm going to approve it. And if they if they want a fellowship in our community, which one does, sister, I chose y'all. I'm going on the record right now. She wants to be a part of my community. She will be. As long as she's practicing the way we practice, she will be. Y'all should have seen her testimony yesterday. She will be. And whoever doesn't like it, I love y'all. Y'all can unsubscribe. Y'all can leave. I respect that. Please don't come over here and force Barawak or NHIF or what we believe. We have to respect people which I believe, respect what we believe. If you don't believe Gentiles can get saved, that's on y'all. Like Sister Reveal says something, everybody needs to work on their own salvation. Don't persuade me to be wrong. I got a spirit on me. And the spirit on me is love, inclusive love, unconditional love. So me, y'all that really don't know me, go research with a 5%er. And I bring some of my friends on as 5%ers, and they will tell you how they feel. So if I can change that belief, anybody can change. Y'all don't really know me. Y'all don't know my history. Y'all don't know nothing about me to think that that's what I'm pushing. I'm not, but I'm pushing righteousness. And if they cleave to us and it's righteous, they my brothers and sisters. So I hate to be the bad burden. I am not trying to disrespect anybody. I'm not trying to belittle anybody. I got to respect my brothers and sisters that's Israelites. I got to respect what y'all teach, but please respect what I teach. And I will definitely respectfully anything we teach. Y'all know my email. I will go live about it respectfully. That's it, man. I mean, what else y'all want me to do? You know, I'm losing subscribers every day because I don't subscribe to Torah only. Majority of my subscribers are Torah only. They dropping left and right off my channel. You think I'm losing sleep about it? I have to speak what's true in my mind. K. Judah have to speak what's true in his mind. Brother Tim and a lot of my brothers, they speak the truth what's in their mind. So, you know, let's just stop pointing the fingers at each other and looking to do this and have hate and all that. You know, a lot, and I'm going to say something else too. And then we're going to get started with this video. A lot of our people, y'all need to worry about practicing right. Y'all worry about marriage. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of y'all, I see some of y'all. Don't take this the wrong way. I see some of y'all on Facebook at the stores on the Shabbat. And I ain't gonna call nobody out. Y'all know who you are. Start keeping these feast days. Start keeping the Shabbat. Start walking right. We worried about an interracial marriage, but you ain't walking right. If we was under the death penalty, you get killed for not keeping the Sabbath. That's a high sin. Thank y'all for grace. Some of y'all can't even put together a month worth of Sabbaths. But yet still we worry about marrying another race. And then we looking at the modern times of another race. We ain't even looking at the Hamites and everybody else. In the Old Testament, and people might get upset on the other side, there wasn't no Europeans. Show me one nation that was a European nation and further in the back, dealing in Genesis, in the Torah. Show me the nations we were beefing was a European nation. So there was all other nations that were melanated. And he told us don't mix with them. And every last one of them was idol worshiping. And I can show that in the text. Every last one of them was putting their kids through the fire, following other gods and everything else. So please, I don't want to get into that. I'm not here for that. This is from yesterday. All right. Okay, listen. I'm gonna answer your question, and no, Sister Geneva, I ain't talking about you. So you don't have Facebook. I'm just look. Please don't take. I'm just speaking some stuff. I understand what you're saying. I have a question. How does a slave keep the Shabbat? I don't really know that. I would have to go back and research that. Because what I will say is Abraham has servants, right? Y'all, and look, y'all, this ain't gonna be a question. I'm on here today. I got to stand firm. I'm on here to show this video about the maps. So we're not gonna go off into these questions. What I'm gonna do, let y'all know, I'm gonna show y'all my position. If you're just coming in, rewind the tape and listen to everything I said, because you may miss something. You may miss something what I said. So please go back and rewind the tape and listen to everything before you jump to the conclusions of what my position is. We're gonna do our position. What my position is, like I told y'all, and y'all need to hear everything else. But I'm on here for. I'm not gonna let this turn into marriage thing and that Israel could be saved. None of that. It's not. We do answer questions, but this is going to be a 29-minute video I'm showing dealing with these maps. That's the title. So I'll answer this and keep it moving. About the Shabbat, I can't really. I mean, here's the thing. If there's a slave, right, and like I said, I would have to research to give you a direct for sure answer. And if K. Judah, if you know, answer, you can answer it for me. If anybody have the chapter and verse where they can answer it, go ahead. Because I'm not afraid to say I don't know. But what I will tell you is this. If they are a slave and they're keeping the Shabbat, they would keep the Shabbat the same day we would keep it, and they would not allow them to work on the Shabbat. You know what I mean? Because that's our custom. Now, Abraham had servants in the house. He had servants, and Yah told him to circumcise everybody in the house. But that wasn't Israelites. Those were Hebrews and other mixed multitudes. But everybody kept the law based off of what Yah commanded Abraham to do. So I will assume, using critical thinking and our customs, if we had slaves, we wouldn't allow our slaves to work on the Shabbat. I'm just using Israelite critical thinking and our customs. Why would we be off on the Shabbat and make our slaves work on the Shabbat? So that's my answer. If anybody else got a better answer, they can answer it. I've been in I didn't see you in the chat. And that's a great question. I will do some more research on it. But there's K. Judah's perspective. One law for all, even for the servants and slaves. Boom. I see the same thing. I see that. You know, like I said, that I was just using critical thinking. So that's your answer for that. What was your name? I want to get the name. Common Naves. I don't know if you're a sister or a brother, but that's the question. Now, getting back to everything, family, we will do a teaching on that. My position. You don't know my position, so please do not assume I'm saying this or saying that. Go back and listen to the beginning of what I said, and then you'll get a clear understanding of what we're going to bring out about it. And again, I'll say this again. I stand on, do not try to put me and K. Judah against each other or what we teach. That's my brother. I don't know Brother Tim. I know K. Judah. We know each other, not purely personally, but we've talked to each other all the time for a long time now, at least a year. Got to be close. Yeah, K. Judah. I can't remember the first time when we seen you and we came on your platform. And you can't. I know it's at least been a year, at least, and if not, it's close to it. So, and we talk all the time. So please don't try to do that. We know our differences. We know where we stand. Job suggest y'all go back and ask K. Judah his position so you can get a clear understanding, because I see it, and I agree with it. And I believe once we're done with everything, y'all see my position. All right? So that's that. Now, getting back to the maps. Take notes on this if you can, family. I'll stop it sometimes just to give y'all some input. If you've seen our teachings, the teachings I did, because I don't teach all the time. If y'all seen my Deuteronomy 28, I talk about all this that's in this video in Deuteronomy. We don't need Deuteronomy 28. These maps, the dude with the maps, this one map, the dude who he is, his history, the anthropologist parts. I talk about all this, the historical source. I talk about. So when I seen the video, I said, "Oh my goodness, what is this?" I just stumbled up on my algorithm on my YouTube. I said, "This is crazy," and I watched it. And I said, "Man, whoever made this video, this is fire." So I know that some of these Gentile Christians and some of our Israelite Christians have been pushing the map is false. This and that is an error he made. This dude is known for the map game back in that time. He's well studied. So you think he made a mistake? And I'm going to show that in this video. Now, when I woke up this morning after all this, let me show you how the spirit moved. Some of y'all didn't hear this. Some of y'all did. I stumbled on another video by a Christian apologist. I think he's a Christian apologist, but he's Christian, faithful of God. He posted a video debunking the video. Somebody, it's false and using somebody that's claiming it's false, translation errors, all this type of stuff, right? And I said, wow, that's funny how y'all work. I didn't never see this video he talking about, but I watched it. And I said, ain't this something? Now he want to push his agenda. So I'm going to share this video with y'all, family. It's 29 minutes. Please listen, because what I noticed too, I'm going to say something. Y'all might get offended. Some of y'all are in here and y'all don't be listening and taking notes. You know how I know? Because some of y'all be asking some questions and some of the teachings that we done and answered. And y'all were present. And some of y'all asked questions that some of these teachings, and even now I see it in K. Judah's channel. Me, when K. Judah teach, I have a pen and paper. If I already know what he's talking about, I don't have to worry about it. I know I agree with it already. But stuff K. Judah teach, stuff when my teacher used to teach, stuff that I see on YouTube, I got a pen and paper. I take notes. Stuff I may not remember or did not know, I take notes. And then I learn how to articulate it. So if somebody asks me a question, I know how to answer it. My wife has 15, 20 notebooks over there, notes. That's all she do is sit down and take notes. So again, I'm not saying this to discredit nobody. Pay attention. And Ben and Yah brought that out. He brought out in class, and he studies, and people are asking these same questions that they were in the class. And I can go back and show y'all videos, y'all, because I'm meticulous at seeing who's listening and who's not. And so how you learn is you learn to take notes, and you learn to understand what you're looking at so you can be able to explain it, not regurgitate it. Put my feet to the fire too, though. Put K. Judah's feet to the fire. I don't mind if y'all cross-examine our teachers with each other, but don't try to bring us against each other live or on tape. Don't do that. Just say, okay, I agree with this with K. Judah. Oh, I agree with this with Barawak. And if you don't agree, you can put it in the chat and tell me, then I'll explain to you why I see it this way. And if you still don't agree, okay, but let's not make this out of an argument oh, I ain't subscribing to your channel no more. Y'all want to deal with that? Go to the camps and watch how they deal with you. Go ask them a question in the chat. Go on the camps channel and say, I disagree with this, and watch what happens to you, especially our sisters. I can give you some channels to go and say, hey, go into this channel and ask this question to these brothers and watch what happens. We are a handful of communities on YouTube, Facebook that answer questions and are patient and humble, and then y'all get attitudes when we disagree with y'all. Me and K. Judah don't get upset when y'all disagree with us. We don't get upset. We talk about this all the time. Man, I was so glad after this. I said, man, the video I made, even though it was for something else, y'all put this for that to go this way yesterday. And it was a great dialogue because I got to see what a lot of people believe. But don't sleep on me. I'm telling you, I don't know everything. But don't think I don't know, because I'm going to come with stuff that you ain't seen before. I'm telling you. And y'all going to get a piece of that with this Old Testament dude that know Hebrew better than me. He knows some things better than me. I'm not going to say yeah, he's a study dude. But the questions Barawak is going to ask, y'all never seen me in action. If you go to these other platforms, Marine TV for one, you look at some of our videos of us dealing with other people, our old videos, me and my former teacher, with different doctrines, you'll see the type of person I am. And you'll see the type of questions that I ask that get people stuck. You can't tell, that because you know more than me, you can't tell me anything. Because I study too much and I study too much culture. I would acknowledge when people know more than me. And they know who they are. And I've been on their platforms asking them questions they can't ask. And I'll give y'all an example. I ain't going to say no name because I got respect for him. A brother told me one day that the reason why they don't keep the evening Sabbath, he's more knowledge from me. I learned a lot from him. Is because it's a Babylonian custom. And I disagree with that. And then we did that teaching. And it's not just him. It was a lot of other people. This was a couple of years ago he told me that. And when I did that teaching with Ben and Yah, we showed that it's no way they could keep a Babylonian evening in the evening. If y'all watched that 3-hour teaching, y'all would have seen Yah was dealing with everybody when we was transitioning to Israel. Do you think Yah would allow a priest and a governor to keep an evening in the evening Babylonian custom? We gave y'all sources. They took 4 months off the Babylonian name of those months, which are loan words, and they ran with what the scholars say. My spirit speaks different. When I see Yah turning kings' hearts, when I see Yah causing people to do certain things some way, when I know Yah put a lion spirit in people's hearts, in the scriptures, Yah put a lion spirit in your mouth, he can do everything. My Yah can do anything. So you can't tell me that he allowed his priests, a high priest, and his scribes and his governors to keep their captivity, taking it back to Israel at that, doing sacrifices as well. Y'all better meditate when y'all see Yah dealing with, when y'all see him in the midst, dealing with people, turning people's hearts and this and that. Y'all better pay attention to scripture and stop thinking the scholars is doing this. And that's why we keep in the evening false. That's why if you didn't watch that video clearly and you didn't take the notes, you won't understand what we're saying. Try the spirit, have the spirit in you when you're reading these verses. Read every word, read every line, understand context, understand who's speaking. I say this in all love because I've been doing this for 20-something years, but I've only been walking right these last 10 years in my journey. But I've been studying. I've read books on Israelite culture in prison when I wasn't even walking right. I told y'all the first book that converted me wasn't the Bible. It was Babylon, and Timbuktu said, okay, I know for sure we Israelites now. I already knew, my father told me in the 80s we was Israelites. I already knew that. I already believed that somewhat in my spirit, even when I was a 5% and thought the black man was God, I had in my spirit we could be Israelites. But when I read Babylon and Timbuktu in 96, that was the light bell. Bing! now I can start looking at how I'm going to prove I'm an Israelite. Because one thing about a 5%er, if you come out the house and you don't know your lessons as a 5%er, for y'all who don't know, I had to memorize our whole 120 lessons. And anybody listening on Facebook that know me and know the 5% how I go, usually get a universal beat down, beat up by everybody in the cipher if you didn't know your lessons. So I have that spirit in me of studying like that, because I was like, man, I'm not getting jumped today. I'm not getting jumped. I'm going to learn what I'm talking about so I can articulate it, even though it was a bunch of nonsense and it is false. I mean, some of it is factual, though. I will say that. Some of the stuff in there is factual, dealing with science and all that. It is factual. I will say that. But, you know, I just want y'all to know Barawak and where I'm coming from. I don't know everything. You know what I'm saying? But I know me as a student, I'm meticulous in listening and asking questions. And if it don't add up with me, and Ben and y'all's the same way. If it don't make sense, I still got more questions, because I am not going to be regurgitating. It's dangerous to regurgitate. All right, family. I love y'all. Let's watch this video and get up out of here. It's 29 minutes. Please pay attention. If you know what this is about, go back and rewind the tape. Y'all missed a lot. And I pray that y'all understand what's going on. This is our history, family. Let me put this fair use. I don't want to get in trouble. I got it on the screen going down. All right, 1 second, y'all. And type of 1 if y'all can hear it, y'all. Please, once I start it, I'll say something and then type of 1 and let me know. I'm going to stop it and then play it and then check it, because I won't be able to see the screen, y'all, until I stop the video to ask questions. I mean, I might just stop the video sometimes just to say a few things about it, so then point some things out, and then keep going for the most part. But here, I'm going to play it. Y'all's type of 1, let me know. All right, y'all type of 1 and let me know if y'all hear that, please. Type of 1 if you hear that. I stopped it, but just type of 1 if you heard the video, please. I don't see no 1s yet either. Let me try again. Y'all still don't hear it? Do y'all hear me? Okay, let me try one more time. I think I know what I did wrong. 1 second. I think I got it. Hold on. Okay, Judy showed me this. My bad. Hold on. I know what I did. I got it. My brother Judy showed me. I forgot this part. All right, 1 second, y'all. 1 second. All right, should be able to hear it coming in now, and then I'll rewind it. 1 second.
Deliberate, official. It is a map of West Africa, drawn by the royal cartographer of King George II of England. And right there, along the coast, the very stretch of coastline where historians estimate that millions of African men, women, and children were kidnapped, chained, and loaded onto slave ships bound for the Americas, right there, on that coast. Imagine.
All right, here we go, y'all.
Imagine you are standing in a library, not just any library, a royal archive, somewhere in London or Washington, D.C. You pull out a massive old map, printed in 1747. The paper is yellowed, the ink is faded, but the words are still there, clear, deliberate, official. It is a map of West Africa, drawn by the royal cartographer of King George II of England. And right there, along the coast, the very stretch of coastline where historians estimate that millions of African men, women, and children were kidnapped, chained, and loaded onto slave ships bound for the Americas, right there, on that coast, this royal British mapmaker wrote 2 words that will stop you cold. Kingdom of Judah. Not WHYDHA, not WHYDHA, not Guinea. Judah, as in Judah, as in the ancient Hebrew tribe of Judah, as in one of the 12 tribes of Israel, written directly on a map of West Africa in 1747 by a man who worked for the King of England. Now, before you scroll away, I need you to stay with me for just 60 more seconds, because I know what you might be thinking. That is probably just a spelling mistake or a translation error. And that is exactly what I thought too, at first. But
Family, listen to who this man is. Listen to his accolades. Listen to who he is, and then use critical thinking what he's about to say about this man. But these faithful of God using these videos, but they're not talking about who this man was. Please listen.
Here is the thing. This man, Emmanuel Bowen, was not making spelling mistakes. His maps were used to run an empire. His maps were used by merchants, by admirals, by politicians. His maps had to be accurate, or ships would sink and fortunes would be lost. So the question is not, did he make a mistake? The real question is, what did Emmanuel Bowen know in 1747 that we have somehow forgotten today? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you are going to look at the history of the slave trade in a completely different way. And once you see this, you cannot unsee it. Emmanuel Bowen was born around 1694 in England, and he was not just any mapmaker. He held the official title of geographer to His Majesty King George II. Later in his career, he also became the official geographer to King Louis XV of France. Think about that for a moment. This man was the official...
I got to stop it for 1 second because I need y'all to hear something. Reason why I'm navigating to this, in that same video, that Fair for God, they don't give the history of who this man was. This is important to using critical thinking and studying, right? This is what I try to teach and help people out with. This man wasn't just a normal map maker. He was decorated. This man was highly recommended. Y'all heard him say, if the map wasn't a certain way, you would sink. Well, I learned something yesterday that I didn't know. There's stuff that it's called coordinates. There's called coordinates, right? And it's based off of, I think K. Judah might notice, it's based off the maps and it's based off of locations, like 21 miles east this way, 2 northeast that way. Well, the door of no return, and they're going to explain that, has the coordinates. That's what the maps is based off of with these ships and all that. If you don't sail a certain way or whatever, you can sink or kill people. So this man was skillful. So you think he would make a translation error? Now, please, y'all, listen. This ain't no long video, but y'all need to really listen to this because this is powerful. Listen. And faithful of God and all these Christian apologists talking about our history is false and these maps is lying, they lying and this and that. And these are Gentiles telling the truth. They knew who we were.
Official cartographer to not one, but 2 of the most powerful monarchies in the 18th century world. His maps were not decorations. They were working documents. British merchants used them to plan trade routes. The Royal Navy used them to navigate coastlines. Politicians and colonial administrators used them to make decisions about which territories to claim, which ports to use, and yes, which populations to exploit. In 1747, Bowen published one of his most significant works. It was called A Complete Atlas, or Distinct View of the Known World. This atlas contained detailed maps of every continent, every known coastline, every major kingdom and territory that European powers had documented at that time. And on the map of West Africa, specifically on the section covering the area the Europeans called the Slave Coast, Emmanuel Bowen wrote, Kingdom of Judah. Now, I want you to really think about this. If you were the official cartographer to the King of England, and you were labeling a territory on a map that will be used for imperial commerce and navigation, you do not write down a name by accident. You write down the name that people in that region use to identify themselves. Or you write down the name that your sources, explorers, merchants, sea captains, missionaries, consistently reported back to London. So the question becomes, who told Emmanuel Bowen to call this place Judah? And why?
Drop a comment below. Do you think a royal cartographer of this level would make a casual spelling error on an official imperial map? Tell me what you think. To understand the mystery on that map, we first need to understand the kingdom itself. The kingdom of WHYDHA, also spelled WHYDHA or FIDA, was a real, documented, historically verified West African kingdom. It existed along the coast of what is today the modern nation of Benin. At its height in the late 17th and early 18th century, the Kingdom of WHYDHA was one of the most active trading ports on the entire West African coast. European traders, French, Portuguese, English, Dutch, all competed fiercely to establish trading posts there. The kingdom had a sophisticated political system, a royal court, a standing army, and complex trade networks stretching deep into the interior of the continent. In 1727, the Kingdom of WHYDHA was conquered by the neighboring Kingdom of Dahomey, a powerful inland empire that then took control of the coastal slave trade.
All right, family, real quick. I bought this out in Deuteronomy 28. I got a book on Dahomey. I bought this out in some of my sources and some of the information about the Kingdom of Dahomey. If you don't have this map, get a copy of it so you can understand, because we did a lot of trade, a lot of migration patterns and dealing with different people selling gold and buying other stuff in all these different regions, right? So I just want to show y'all and paint the picture that this man, Faithful God, and the rest of them trying to say this dude, how powerful he was and how prominent he was and how established he was. You think he would make a baby error translation in that map? He knew what he was doing, but these gatekeepers is trying to push. It's Garfield too. He's the main one with this map, but they don't never do the research on who Bowen was. See, they give this misinformation. They give you some of the truth and leave some of the key things out. Then they give you a lot of lies and leave some of the key thing is who created the map, who he was. If I'm an expert in something, and I've been doing this since I was born and a kid for years and years, to make that's just a baby translation error when you're doing maps that can kill people if it's not the right way. Come on, man. These people are gatekeepers and they're lying. They're lying with this false doctrines they teaching on these YouTube channels and pushing this stuff, trying to push this stuff. That dude, Faithful God, I pray that he hear this. You wrong, bro. You don't even know who Bowen is. That video you got, you don't even go in depth about who he is because you want to push your agenda. I remember him. He told me about that little small channel you got. I don't want to come over there. I don't blame you. You get chopped up to pieces. You come over here. I ain't going over there where you can cut me off like you do all Israelites. All right. This is deep, y'all.
After that conquest, the name and the identity of the kingdom began to fade from the dominant historical record. But before that conquest, European documents, travel accounts, and maps consistently referred to this kingdom by a fascinating variety of names. The French called it Judah, the Portuguese called it Ajuda, the English called it WHYDHA. And on Emanuel Bowen's 1747 map, it is clearly labeled Kingdom of Judah. Now here is where the linguistics get very interesting. Very interesting indeed. The local name for this kingdom spoke.
I had to stop this. I'm sorry, but I need y'all to pay attention. Y'all know we big on identity, language, and culture. We teach that over here. Linguistics is important to this map. It's important to everything. Pay attention to this right here, how he break down the linguistics to dealing with this. This is language, family. This is language. That's why I tell you these key components are always good at incorporating in our studies. It's always good because you can back stuff up with proof. Listen carefully.
Spoken by the people who actually lived there was something close to WHYDHA or WHYDHA. Now, say that out loud slowly. WHYDHA, WHYDHA, WHYDHA. Now, say this word, Yehuda. That is the original Hebrew name for the tribe of Judah. Yehuda. WHYDHA, Yehuda. Now, I am not a linguist, and I am not going to tell you these two words are definitively connected. What I will tell you is this. Multiple scholars and researchers, including some working within mainstream African history, have noted the phonetic similarity between these names and have asked whether that similarity is coincidental. And here is what makes this question even more fascinating. It is not just the name. Because when European travelers and missionaries arrived in the kingdom of WHYDHA in the late 1600s and early 1700s, they wrote detailed observations about the customs and practices of the people they found there. And some of those observations were unexpected.
Y'all hear that? Customs. We big on that. Nazarene Hebrew Institute of Faith is big on that. The 1948ers don't have these customs like this, family, until the medieval time. After 740 AD or the medieval time, they don't have ancient customs like this, family. Listen carefully. Identity, language, and culture.
A French missionary writing in the early 1700s documented that the people of this coastal kingdom practiced male circumcision as a widespread cultural rite. Several European accounts noted that these communities observed dietary restrictions, specifically avoiding pork. There were documented ceremonial washing rituals and purification practices observed among certain groups in the region. Now, circumcision, dietary restrictions, purification rituals. If you know your Old Testament, your Torah, your Book of Leviticus, you recognize those practices. They are central to ancient Hebrew and Israelite religious law.
So here is the question I want you to sit with. Is it possible that a population living on the West African coast in the 1700s was practicing cultural traditions that had ancient Semitic or Hebraic origins? And could that be why European mapmakers, who would have recognized those practices through their biblical education, consistently labeled this kingdom with a name that sounded remarkably like Judah? This is a genuine historical and anthropological question, and it deserves a genuine historical investigation. What do you think? Drop a comment. Is this a coincidence, or is there something deeper here? I read every single comment. Now let us go back to the Bowen map and look at it more carefully, because the name Kingdom of Judah does not exist in isolation on this map. Around it, you can see other labels: Guinea, the Gold Coast, the Slave Coast, Negro Land. And this is where the geography becomes extremely revealing. Look at the term Negro Land. On 18th century European maps, Negro Land referred to the broad interior regions of West Africa, the vast territory south of the Sahara and north of the forest belt. But here is something that historians and map scholars have noted. On many of these early European maps, including Bowen's, there is a clear distinction made between Negro land to the interior and the coastal kingdoms with their own specific identities. The coastal zone, the area of the slave coast, was treated differently. It had named kingdoms. It had political entities with their own identities. And among all those coastal kingdoms labeled on the Bowen map, Iceni, Ardra, Benin, Calabar, there is exactly one that is labeled with a name carrying obvious biblical resonance: Kingdom of Judah. Not Kingdom of the WHYDHA people, not Kingdom of WHYDHA, Judah. Now ask yourself, why would a trained, precise royal cartographer choose that specific rendering of the name when he had multiple phonetic options available to him? The Portuguese were calling it Ajuda. He could have used something similar. The local people called it something closer to WHYDHA. He could have used that. Instead, Bowen, educated, informed, working for the British Crown, chose to write Judah. The same spelling used in many old European Bibles and religious texts to refer to the tribe and territory of Judah. That choice, made by a careful professional, is the detail that historians should be asking more questions about. Let us look at some of the historical accounts that were coming back to Europe from this region during the same period. In the early 1700s, a French ship's captain and trader named Jean Barbeau traveled extensively along the West African coast and wrote detailed accounts of what he observed. Barbeau described the Kingdom of WHYDHA as one of the most organized and commercially sophisticated kingdoms on the coast. He documented the royal court, the trade protocols, and the religious customs of the region. Other European visitors noted that the people of this coastal kingdom had priests, called Vodun priests in the Dahomean tradition, but that alongside local spiritual practices, there were also observable customs that European observers, trained in biblical scripture, found strikingly familiar. Now, it is important to be honest here. We need to be careful about interpreting these accounts too literally. European missionaries and traders in the 1700s often had agendas. They sometimes saw what they wanted to see, or misunderstood local customs through the lens of their own cultural background. So we cannot simply take every European observation and build an unchecked theory on top of it. But here is what we can say with confidence. Multiple independent European sources from different nations, French, English, Portuguese, over a period of several decades, consistently used the name Judah or Judah to identify this specific kingdom. That is not one person making a mistake. That is a pattern. And patterns in historical documentation deserve serious academic attention. Pause the video right now and
What y'all hear me and K. Judah say all the time. Pattern. Pattern. Anything y'all does, the book, the Bible, scriptures, everything's a pattern. Y'all watch Yahshua, pattern. The way these scholars is putting together everything, it's a pattern. Yah allowed this to happen and preserve this history like this so we can wake up. When we wake up, we can find it. That's what this awakening is about. This is what I've been trying to hammer into my family, my cousins down south, and everybody, all my Facebook friends. He allowed this history to be preserved. They don't teach this in school because they took it out. If they would have taught this history in school, we would have learned. That's why I got kicked out of history lessons all the time, because in the class, because I knew we was kings and queens. I knew that at 14 years old. Look at the preserve and listen to this video. This is powerful. Pattern.
Consistently use the name Judah or Judah to identify this specific kingdom. That is not one person making a mistake. That is a pattern. And patterns in historical documentation deserve serious academic attention. Pause the video right now and ask yourself, when was the last time your history class taught you anything about the Kingdom of WHYDHA? And why do you think that is? Here
is where the story takes a turn that is difficult to explain away. If you look at maps of West Africa from the 1600s and early 1700s, from multiple European nations, you will find the name Judah or Judah appearing consistently for this coastal kingdom. French maps, Portuguese charts, British imperial maps like Bowen's, all of them use some version of that name. But then, as you move into the late 1700s and especially into the 1800s, something changes. The name begins to disappear. By the mid-1800s, most maps and colonial documents refer to this location simply as WHYDHA, a phonetic rendering that sounds similar to the local pronunciation, but has completely lost the biblical resonance of Judah.
The kingdom itself, of course, had been conquered by Dahomey in 1727, so its political identity had already been erased. But the name on the maps, that took longer to change. And here is the historical context that surrounds that change. The 19th century was the era of what historians call scientific racism, the attempt to use emerging scientific theories to justify racial hierarchy and colonial domination. It was the era when influential thinkers began arguing that African people...
Hey, see, that's why I said, when y'all in our classes and y'all see me do these interviews, y'all got to pay attention. Tudor Parfit spoke about this. And Tudor Parfit don't know these people right here. He spoke about this. And he got a book called Hybrid Hate. I've read the book entirely. He speaks about how how the racism started coming in. And they started changing stuff, trying to change the maps, trying to say the earlier anthropologists and all of them was false and they was wrong, but they weren't there. These earlier anthropologists in the 16 and the 1500s, they were primary sources. These dudes that come 200 years later, 1700, 1800, now they pushing their agenda. They're using these gatekeepers, all these Christian apologists are using these other anthropologists' works of these 1700s, 1800s. This is the beginning of what we call today systemic racism, what we would call that today in modern time. But this was the beginning of how they was putting together the conspiracy to start trying to distort this and debunk it and start coming up with lies. And this is what these Christians and these gatekeepers and these Israelites is using. He's giving you true history right here. Tudor Parfit covered this. That's why I respect him. He's not scared to tell the truth. A lot of these modern scholars today will lie because of their hate and their bias. And then our Christian families that's in this truth, they helping this out. They helping us out. Please listen, family, as we keep going in this history. This is why reason why I'm showing this video, because we covered these things in our video. If y'all sat there while Tudor Parfit was talking and showing these slides, shame on y'all. Because this stuff right here, these are witnesses. Tudor Parfit, this video, the sources I brought out, these are multiple witnesses to our history showing we the people of the book. We don't have to go to Deuteronomy 28:68. We got history books telling these people who we are. Our ancestors are crying out through Yah. And he done left all this for us to discover. Listen up, family. For real, I'm passionate about this. Listen up.
Influential thinkers began arguing that African peoples had no meaningful history, no great civilizations, no complex religions or cultural systems of their own. These arguments were used to justify the continued exploitation of African people and their lands. Now, think about what it would mean for those arguments if it became widely known that the people being enslaved and transported across the Atlantic were, by many historical accounts, a population with ancient Semitic cultural traditions. A people whose kingdom had been labeled Judah on royal maps for over a century. A people whose customs bore documented similarities to the laws recorded in Leviticus and Deuteronomy. If that story became the dominant narrative, the entire ideological justification for the slave trade and colonialism would have been in serious trouble. Because you cannot simultaneously claim that a people have no history, no religion, and no civilization, while also acknowledging that European cartographers were calling their kingdom Judah well into the 18th century. I am not telling you what to conclude from this. I am telling you that the historical timeline, the appearance and then the disappearance of the name Judah on Western maps aligns very uncomfortably with the rise of ideologies that required African history to be erased. That alignment is worth discussing. It is worth researching, and it is worth asking about. Comment below. Do you think this name change was purely linguistic and accidental? Or does the timing tell a different story? Let me know what you think. Now, let me be clear about something important. This is not a settled question in mainstream academic history. Most historians who specialize in West African history and the Atlantic slave trade will tell you that the name WHYDHA and its variants, including Judah and Ajudah, are simply different European phonetic interpretations of the local WHYDHA people's name for themselves. That is the mainstream academic position, and it is a reasonable position. Languages get transliterated differently by speakers of different languages. A French speaker and an English speaker hearing the same African name will often write it down very differently. So the name Judah may simply be how French and Portuguese traders heard and wrote down WHYDHA. That is one explanation. But here is what that explanation does not fully address. Even if the phonetic similarity between WHYDHA and Yehuda is coincidental, the documented cultural practices are still there in the historical record. The circumcision practices, the dietary patterns, the purification rituals, these are documented by multiple independent European sources. And there is a growing body of serious academic research, including work by scholars at African universities, exploring the possibility that some West African populations had ancient cultural connections to Semitic and Middle Eastern traditions, transmitted through centuries of trans-Saharan trade, migration, and cultural exchange. The idea that ancient Hebraic or Israelite influences could have reached sub-Saharan Africa through those ancient trade networks is not a fringe theory. There are peer-reviewed academic papers discussing exactly this possibility. The Beta Israel community of Ethiopia, the ancient Jewish community there, proves beyond any doubt that Israelite cultural and religious traditions did reach deep into sub-Saharan Africa in ancient times. So the question of whether similar influences might have reached West Africa is a legitimate one. It simply has not received the mainstream academic attention it deserves. And that?
Beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, family, when you think of Zephaniah, we used to go on these groups and ask them in the Rumble groups on Facebook, on Marine TV. We used to go to a Clubhouse, ask the Christians, all these different platforms. Who were the people that were beyond the rivers of Ethiopia? Who? When was the 1948ers behind the rivers of Ethiopia? When does any of these 1948ers have any oral tradition, customs, purification huts, any of these rituals, dietary laws before 740 AD? They Jewish encyclopedia, their books, all that say they converted. All the old anthropologists, all the old scholars say this. This is not about racism and hate. This is about something that we've been lied to for thousands of years. And they took these books out of the schools. But guess what? Every one of these books that is not in Amazon, if y'all not familiar, I'm going to give y'all some info, a jewel, a powerful jewel. Some of you probably know, some of you don't know. You can go, I've done got books. You can go get books that ain't on Amazon being sold, that some that are on Amazon that's being sold $1,000, $2,000. I went right to the library and got these books on a library interlineal loaner. I've got books from Duke University before, from Cambridge, whatever, to get up. And I know what I did. I copied them. Because some of the PDFs, they don't have the whole book. They try to give you partial of it so they can leave important stuff out. Like a book called The Myth. what's the name of this book? It's 1,000 pages. Oh my goodness. It's a Gentile scholar. It's something myth. I believe one of y'all know, but the book is dealing with a myth in his name. Anyway, I went and got that book from Duke University. They were selling that book for a couple of $1,000s on Amazon. His name would come to me but I got the whole book. I copied it because it was too expensive to buy. So I went and got it from Duke. You can get all these books from the library. Some of them you can order them. All right, let's stay focused, family.
Arguably, is a story in itself.
I want to hear from you right now. Do you think mainstream history has done a good job of investigating the cultural origins and identities of enslaved African populations? Comment your honest answer below. The transatlantic slave trade did not just take people from their land. It took their names. It took their languages. It took their family structures. It took their cultural practices. And in many cases, it took their historical identity entirely. When an enslaved person arrived in the Americas, they were typically given a new name, a European name. They were forbidden to speak their original language. They were prevented from practicing their cultural traditions. The goal was not just labor. The goal was the erasure of identity. And if the people who arrived on those ships carried with them, in their cultural memory, in their practices, in their ceremonies, traditions that connected them to an ancient Semitic heritage, that erasure would have been especially powerful. Because you cannot claim your ancient identity if you do not even know you had one. The map of Emanuel Bowen, sitting quietly in historical archives, printed in 1747, is one small window back through that erasure. It is evidence, not of a conspiracy theory, but of a historical record that has been incompletely explored. And in the age of genetic genealogy, linguistic archaeology, and digital access to historical archives, we now have tools to investigate these questions more deeply than ever before. Organizations like the Slave Voyages Project, housed at major American universities, have spent decades digitizing records of the transatlantic slave trade.
I want to tell y'all something I learned. People say stay out these, don't deal with these scholars. Well, I'm in the academic group, right? I'm in the academic group with a bunch of scholars. I joined the group. I have access to Cambridge University. Library of Congress is free. Library of Congress is a good source, family, if you're doing research. What I'm about to say, all this type of stuff is in here. You can go look at. It's public information. We don't read. We just want to run the Deuteronomy 28:68. We know the scriptures say who we are. We know that. But there's books and history, because people say, you hear people say, well, it's not our history. It is our history. It is. They're trying to, they erased it, a lot of it, but thank Yah that they preserved this stuff. So I'm in these academic groups. They give me access to digital libraries. That's why I got the Dead Sea Scrolls and all that, and all the manuscripts. I'm studied like this because my life is not based on the streets no more. My life, I don't hang out with none of my old friends. I love them and all that. My best friend is my wife. I deal well. When we go out on the town, we go out together, unless I'm going shopping. All I do is study. I got a boring life. Facebook and study. And when I'm on Facebook, I'm either talking about sports once in the blue moon or I'm talking about Yah. But my point to all this, I'm in academic groups, and I thank Yah for that, because this is where you find all this stuff at. I'm in Cambridge University. I'm in Oxford University. I'm in Yale, and I'm in an academic group. I take anthropology courses for free. The book that I'm talking about is Lost Tribes of Myth by Alan Godby. I thank Yah for being able to look into this stuff, because this is where this stuff is at. And we got dudes like Darnell said, Faithful for God. I think he's been on there. The dude got a big platform. He's very rude and this and that. And he loves debating Israelites, just like Vocab Malone, just like the rest of them Christians. But they give you misinformation. That's what I made the video for yesterday originally. Then it went, to marriage and all that. And like I said, we'll deal with that. But my point to y'all is we got to start. We know the Bible. We can go into the Bible and prove all the prophecies and all that. But what we need to explain to our family is our history. Family, this is a conspiracy like, what's the name put in the scriptures? Psalms 83, this was a conspiracy to keep our history out of the schools. These books were what could have been in the schools. And you know what they did, family? I'm going to tell you what some scholars behind the scenes told me. And there's books that they done tore up because they don't want them sold. And I believe this. They killed all the older Israelites off first. They just were slaughtering them because they let the youngsters, and they was able to convert them and let them raise up. They killed the elders first because the elders who knew the customs, we did. If you talk to Remy and if you talk to Daniel, our people in Africa, we passed the oral traditions down to the Torah to our kids. So what do? Chop the head off. They kill all the elders first, kill all us. Then you raise a kid up to eat pork, believe in Christianity because he don't know our customs yet. He's got a little bit of it. But if you do this to a 5-year-old child and you raise them up, they don't know nothing but white Jesus. They don't know nothing but eat pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, because we done raised them up. And then they pass that on to their kids. So they killed our ancestors first, the elders who had the Torah. This is what they did. This is how they built the blueprint. It was a conspiracy to mess us up, and they did a good job. But now the awakening is here. We waking up, and now y'all done preserved it where we can go back and find these Gentiles' history in these libraries, in these museums. All our stuff is in there. Now you would think President Obama would at least say, hey, let's put some of our history books back in these schools and have them teaching. But you know what? Curriculum is based on what they want you to teach. That's why the state of Florida is corrupted. The governor of the state of Florida is taking stuff out and adding stuff in where he don't want Black history taught in schools. All that they trying to kill us. So we need to spend some money and get back into these libraries, get back into these academic groups, and look and find our history. I wish one of these jokers would debate me, Israelite. I'm gonna put the Bible to the side. I'm not. Don't take this the wrong way. We got history books to show who we were. Everybody took our customs and started keeping the law. The 1948ers. We taught them. Y'all better wake up and do this research.
Tracking which ships left which ports, carrying people from which regions. Their data confirms that a significant number of enslaved people transported to the Americas, particularly to Haiti, Brazil, and the Caribbean, came from precisely the coastal region around the former Kingdom of WHYDHA. The people of the Kingdom of Judah did not disappear. They were scattered. And their descendants are alive today in Haiti, in Brazil, in the Caribbean, in the United States. Many of them are still searching for the history that was taken from them.
So let us bring this all together. In 1747, Emmanuel Bowen, the official royal cartographer to King George II of England, published a map of West Africa. On that map, he labeled a specific coastal kingdom, Kingdom of Judah. That kingdom was located in the area of modern-day Benin. European accounts from the same period documented cultural practices among the people of that region that bore documented similarities to ancient Hebraic traditions. The name Judah appeared consistently on French, Portuguese, and British maps for over a century. And then, in the 19th century, as colonial ideologies demanded that African peoples be portrayed as having no history and no identity, that name quietly disappeared from Western maps.
Y'all hear that?
Now,
Huh.
I am not asking you to accept any single interpretation of what all this means. I am asking you to do something simpler than that. I am asking you to look. Look at the Bowen map. It is real.
You can find it in historical archives and digital libraries right now. Look at the historical accounts of the Kingdom of WHYDHA. They are real, written by real European travelers in the 1700s. Look at the data from the Slave Voyages Project. Real, academic, documented. And then ask yourself the question that historians should have been asking loudly for decades. Who were the people of the Kingdom of Judah? Where did their cultural traditions come from? And what happened to those traditions when those people were scattered across the Atlantic world? The map is still there. The ink is still clear. And the question has never been more urgent. Look at that map one more time. If you could look into the faces of the people who once lived in the Kingdom of Judah, the men, women, and children who built that civilization along the West African coast, what do you think you would see? What do you think history has been keeping from you? Comment the truth below if you believe that the history of enslaved Africans deserves deeper, more honest investigation. And if you found this video meaningful, share it with someone who needs to see it. Because this story does not belong locked away in an archive. It belongs to everyone. Subscribe if you want to go deeper, because we are just getting started. There is so much more of this story to uncover, and we are going to uncover it together.
Hallelujah. All praises. All praises, family. I'm going to tell you something, man. When I seen this video, I went crazy. I subscribed. I don't know who this brother is. I subscribed to his channel. And I'm going to tell you something. He got another video about the Portuguese slave trade that I agree with, too. I haven't seen all of it. I'm new to his channel. I subscribe to it. Fire. 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 I agree with everything in that video because I got stuff to back it up. That book, if I haven't said that book again, is Lost Tribes of Myth by Alan Gabi. Now, family, before I go, I just need to let y'all know something. When we study identity, language, and culture, it's very important that we learn this stuff because this stuff is public information. Sometimes you got to pay to get into these college academic groups, which I did because I want the books. I want the books and the history. I want to read them. You know, that's why I feel like, you know, like this guy, Faithful God, if you go watch his video that's dealing with the same map, you'll see all the lies. He don't cover Bowen like that. They make it seem like, oh, it was just a little error the dude made. They don't realize how serious a map is, especially when you're on the water using the ships and all that. Why do you think these people that sell ships and all that, the maps are important in that water? They ain't got corners and signs and stuff in this water. You go certain places in the ocean, you can drown, the ship and all. This is bigger than what that's why we got to read, family. We got to read and educate ourselves. That one thing I may have a GED in a college degree in logistics out of prison, all out of prison. But one thing they can't take from me, I learned it. I read it. I learned how to. I took counseling and tutoring how to read and comprehend because I couldn't. So I ain't no all-out dummy. I might not be able to spell sometimes good and all that, but I know how to read very well, and I know how to count very well, and I know how to comprehend very well. All our history is in these books. It behooves you, my cousins and sisters in North Carolina and Winston-Salem. It behooves you, my friends in Jersey, New York, Texas, California, people I was in prison with all over Mississippi, all over. It behooves you to go back and start looking at these books and see if it is true that we the chosen people. This is not about race. NHIF, my ministry, we do not teach hate and racism or Gentiles, second-class citizens. We are to be a light to them. That's it. And teach them. That's it. That's it. And they still are brothers and sisters. I beg y'all to do the research on this history. There's so much stuff out here, but we still running the Deuteronomy 28:68. See, ships. But how can we prove these ships? This is a blueprint right here on how to go. This man, if you haven't listened, this man quoted people that you can go find books about these people writing. And then he told you when the 1900s came, that's when they started coming in and trying to change everything. Oh, we got to make it seem like they got no history. That's why we didn't have nothing. That's why Jesse Jackson came along and called us African Americans. African. I wish somebody would tell me and mean that. I'm not no African American. I'm not no nigger, and I'm not no Negro. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. And y'all stop listening to these brothers on the streets corners hating and cussing sisters out. All ain't the same. This is my passion and me crying out to y'all. Read some books. Stop going to the club every week and saying you don't care as long as you can pray to Jesus. He know your heart and all this. Go study your history. It's a shame. I be at work. I done asked 50, 60 young kids what part of Africa we come from. Not one could say what part. They couldn't even guess West Africa. I don't know, and I don't care. That's how we the most I don't care people in the world. I can care less. I'm going to the club tonight. I can care less. I'm going to get the new Jordans. I can care less. I'm going to Red Lobster. I can care less. It's my birthday today. I'm partying. I'm gonna drink all this liquor up and do all these drugs. I don't care about no Jesus or this and that. I want my family to hear this because I love my family. I want my friends to hear this because I love my friends. And I tell you this, Facebook friends and people that know me, y'all see me on Facebook and y'all be jumping out there. You ain't seen me in 20-something years. A lot of y'all have not seen me in over 25 plus years. You don't know where my mindset is. You don't know what I'm doing today. You don't know what type of person I am. And if you get in an argument about this, I don't have no problem talking to you respectfully live or behind the scenes respectfully. And this is for my friends and family. I can prove to you we the people of the book. I can prove to you, and with all due respect, we ain't Muslims. Y'all keep thinking that I'm saying this to try to attack y'all. I can take you into your own religion history and show you that we not. I can show you where the conversions went in Africa. I can show you. If y'all watch my video, I showed y'all in our video how they converted us to Islam. That's why some of them was on the ships. So please, family, I'm not out here to Mr. Know-it-all, but if you ain't took the time out like me, I took decades out of reading and studying before I even got sharp with the Bible to know my history. That's why I taught it to my grandson. We have to teach our people our history first to get them. We already know the Bible. Our Christian family love the Lord. But we got to teach them. It's our job as individuals to teach our people our history. Spend $10, $15 and get in these academic groups so you can find out what books they got in there and order these books. So you can defend our doctrine and defend our history and prove we Israelites. Not running to one verse, because that's not enough for people to believe, especially our grandmas and our cousins and Uncle Joe at the cookout. Man, I don't care about that, man. I'm going to eat me some pork chops. We got to get to the man. This is our history. Start talking to them about Africa. Y'all scared to talk to them about Africa. Our people in Africa got the history. They be laughing at how we don't ask them questions. Remy get on, he said, man, y'all my brothers, man. I'm passionate about this because I want people to hear this. So again, I say this all in love. Study to show ourselves approved. Please, please. I'm not here to offend anybody. I'm not racist. I'm not, like I said, I got Gentile people in my community. A new Gentile wants to join our community. She is welcome. If y'all don't like that, I love y'all. If y'all don't believe that she should be part of that, I said, and if you haven't heard the beginning of the video, please go back and listen to the beginning of the video with my information about us bringing out the teaching about marriage. I said what I said about my brother K. Judah. We talk all the time. Do not try to ever put us against each other, because he's going to rebuke you just like I am. Me and him got a close relationship. We talk a lot more than any of y'all on here, unless some of y'all know him personally. I talk to him all the time. We understand our beliefs. So if you got to go back and listen to the beginning of the tape, I'm going to show y'all up on my position. A lot of y'all don't know my position on what we was talking about. So guess what? We're going to show you our position. And if you don't agree, I respect that. I respect that. But I stand on this, what I said yesterday. I don't believe it's a sin. I don't believe you can burn for it, marriage with the other races, right? But I do believe we stick with our own race. I do believe that. And we should do that. But I'm going to show you that it's not a sin. And I understand, I told K. Judah, I understand exactly what he's talking about. Y'all might need to pick up the phone or email K. Judah and ask his position, because I don't think y'all understand his position clearly. I do. I know what he teaches. I do. And I'm not going to be the one to tell you. Let him tell you. Let him tell you. So we all right, me and my brother. I can't speak for Brother Tim. I respect him. I don't know him. And in my eyes, there's only one thing I ever disagree with Brother Tim. Everything he puts out is great. I love him too, even though I don't know him. But I only thing I can say I respectfully disagree, and I never came on here and tried to do a teaching against it, because I'm not. Y'all have a tendency, some of y'all, try to push us against each other. I would never do that. Only thing I do, if people come from me and I teach and what HIF believe, then I want to go live about it. I want to go live. Anybody y'all go get about what we teach, I will go live in front of y'all respectfully and have a dialogue. That's how I am. It's a lot y'all don't know about me, and it's a lot of information that y'all have not seen that I put out. But I study. I am not the teacher. Ben Ayah is the teacher of this community. I'm just the backbone and the founder of this community. So don't get it twisted. I don't know everything. I'm humble, but don't get it twisted that I don't think that I know that much. I dealt with that yesterday, and I wasn't upset. I liked that, but I just wanted y'all to understand. But now you're going to see why I see that way, and I'm going to show y'all some things y'all going to have to ask yourself about this. So again, this ain't about who know more and this and that, and y'all taking the different channels. Study yourself. If you disagree with Barawak, you disagree. If you disagree with K. Judah, you disagree. Disagree with Brother Tim, you disagree. Don't come in the chat and try to match us together. Well, K. Judah said this. I'm not pointing the finger at nobody. This is only for the people who feel that way. If you feel that way and you in your heart you was trying to do that, you're wrong. And if you never heard me teach on it, or Ben Ayah, or my former teacher, you don't know what we believe. And a lot of you ain't going to see what's in the text. Go back and rewind the tape. There's some things y'all need to do your own research and go research the law of war first. Go research that and read it. Then ask yourself again. All right? So I'm trying to help some of y'all, and let's be careful how we worry about the small things when we should be worrying about the media things. I am for, can't say it so much, stay in our ethnicity, stay in Hebrew Israelite marriages. Please, yeah, do. But if you run into someone that is keeping our statutes, commandments, and laws, Isaiah 56, read that. They can join to us into our covenant. That's it. So I just want to tell y'all, I respect all of y'all. I love all y'all. I don't want nobody to leave, because I feel like they can learn. But y'all have to understand, this is a ministry. Our goal is to get a building, but we are an online ministry. We keep Passover and feast days that we can together. We're going to keep Passover together. And guess what? Even if you don't believe what NHIF believe, long as you can come to keep Passover with me, if you believe in the salvation of YHWYDHA, you believe 1 Corinthians 15, 1-4. You believe that with me, you can keep Passover with me. If you don't, then I'm sorry. Don't, go on. If you Torah only, respect. I've been losing subscribers left and right. I'm sorry. You're not my brother and sister if you don't believe in the Messiah. I'm sorry. And I will be sacrificing my salvation if I compromise that. All right. So I'm more important than you. All right. So just to let y'all know, this is a ministry. We do allow Gentiles in our community. We do love them. They are our brothers and sisters. And if y'all can't deal with that, I understand. You want to go to the camps and deal with the people who teach that. But all the well-studied camp people, they started Deacon Hassad. I got a lot of respect for that brother. He throwing away a lot of false doctrine. The 7 trumpet doctrine that they teach, that K. Judah did one of the most powerful trumpet teachers I've seen ever. And the camps teach that, and I knew it was false. I knew it. I would have destroyed them live with that doctrine. And K. Judah went on and did that teaching. He ate it up so bad. And guess what? The camps, brothers that study, well-studied brothers, they know it ain't started yet. See, so y'all got to be careful when y'all repeat this stuff and you're not looking at the whole book. Because when you look at the whole book, we can take stuff in the book that contradict what you believe, and now you're gonna have to reevaluate. If I show you in the text into marriage and it show you laws of taking foreign women, then you might have to sit back and say, wait a minute. That's false. I don't agree with it. Now you discrediting our book. So take your time and look at everything. Hold our feet to the fire. Study everything. And learn how to articulate what you believe yourself. Not what I say, not what K. Judah say. My wife can defend what we teach. She get in a lot of debating and all. She don't like that. But my wife is well studied. When I met my wife, she kept a dawn to dawn Sabbath. I didn't fight with her. I didn't fight with her at all. The spirit was in me when I met her. I told her the first day I met her, I'm going to marry you. And I knew she had the dawn to dawn. I said, all I'm going to do is sit down and show her because I know our culture. I said, and she was keeping dawn to dawn. She was basically coming out of Esau was the white man. She had an issue with interracial man, all that y'all talking about, my wife did. And guess what? When I was courting her, I was sitting down with her, doing a little bit of stuff here, a little bit of stuff here. My teacher come home. He was teaching stuff. She was studying it. I'm telling you something funny. It would piss me off sometimes. I would go up to her house in court, and she would come down here, and I'd sleep on the couch. And all I'm telling y'all some personal stuff. And she sleep on the couch, I sleep on the couch. And guess what? She had a dawn to dawn Sabbath. So at nighttime, she would respect me. And in the daytime, I would have to respect her. I wouldn't let her wash no dishes in the house Friday night. And she would have to wait. And so I was like, that's all right. Y'all got me. He going to work on her. Then her brother that's in the community, I love him to death. He taught that. You can go on my YouTube channel. I went live with him about this doctrine. See, it's a lot y'all don't know about. It's in my library. I've been live with about 6-7 different people. I went live with him about the doctrine and showed him. And guess what? I'm hearing that he went back to evening. I'm not sure. I don't want to bear false witness on him. I wish he called me. I love that brother to death, but I just think it was personal with him. It wasn't personal with me. So I don't think I know everything, but what I teach, I know I can articulate it. And again, I keep saying teach because y'all be teaching it, but technically I am a teacher, but I'm not in here to teach. That's why he do all the teachings. But if I have to, I will teach. And certain days I will come out and teach something like the Zadokite teaching. I'm going to show y'all that Zadokite calendar they're using, it's not false, but it didn't come from Yah, from the Torah. It didn't come from Yah, from the Torah. The sun, keeping the sun for feast days, did not come from Yah for the Torah. I stand on that. They separated themselves from us. That they calendar might be right, But them not using the moon throws off all their feast days. And I'm going to prove that. Our moon is used for signs for feast days. That's a fact. I stand on that. I showed it in our teachings. I showed it in Hebrew. I showed witnesses, primary sources. I mean, if you still don't believe that, then you need to go on somewhere else. All due respect and keep the sun. The sun is for agriculture. And the leap year, y'all go to one Israelite channel and show me 5 Israelite communities, because I know 3. Show me 5 or more Israelite communities teaching on leap year. All right? Remember that, because we got one coming up next year, a leap year. The leap year takes your feast days and shift them right. That's why we always in March, April. Some of these Israelites is in May, June keeping Passover. You're out of season. The equinox don't come the same day every year. So you got to understand our seasons and our signs. The new moon don't come the same date every year. So to keep a fixed date, 364 calendar, April 15th or April 16th or whatever day, the same day every year, you will be out of season. You're going to get culture over here, you're going to get history over here, and you're going to get language over here. Barawak don't know nothing. I'm a student, humble. But I know a lot, and I don't know everything. I love y'all. I'm glad y'all listen. I'm not on here to attack anybody. I'm passionate about this today. I'm passionate about what took place yesterday. I am not offensive. And look, we don't have to go live. Any of my brothers and sisters in here that if you disagree, please email me and let's go through this reason together off live. And I'll send you a link and we can just talk. And I can show you what I believe and you show me what you believe, and then you make a decision whether you agree with it or not. We don't have to do this out of hate or who knows the most. Me and K. Judah, we talk all the time. I see this your way, Barawak, Elder. I see this your way, K. Judah. Oh, now this one, I see it a little different this way. We talk all the time like that. And we ain't on here talking about, man, K. Judah. Nah, I ain't about to do that, my brother. I ain't gonna let y'all do that. And he ain't either. We have to, and that's my email up there. Email me. We have to ask each other questions. Because what you might have been learning, you might have been learning wrong. There's some things that I seen K. Judah teach, and I was like, man, I'm wrong about that. I'm serious. I can say that. My student teacher, Ben Yah, taught some stuff that I was like, dang, I ain't never look at it like that. He right. I'm wrong. My wife done corrected me and stuff. I'm like, oh man, babe, you right. So don't get Barawak twisted. I do not have the mentality of I know everything. My former teacher struggled with that. He struggled with that. Can't nobody teach him this and that, but one person, his teacher. That's it. And I showed him a lot of stuff. He was a lot. I showed him a lot of stuff. But his arrogancy, he wouldn't come on and get corrected and say he learned anything from me. But I know, because he's lying, I know he know that I showed him stuff. Literally. In other people's doctrines that I knew inside out, I showed him. And I tell you, I don't hate him, but he's not my brother for a lot of things he did today. I can forgive him, but I can't forget that. But he will always be the credit for teaching me. He is the key teacher in my life. I learned from a lot of people, but he is the number one. He is the one that introduced culture to me. And I took it to another level of studying on my own. And this is years ago, 06, 05, something like that. That's when I started learning culture. And I ate it up. And y'all, I suggest y'all do too. All right, so again, family, like my brother KG say, love y'all with a pure heart. I pray that I didn't offend nobody. I pray that I understand we have all different understandings sometimes. And pick my brain. Y'all want my number? Call me and talk to me. Or ask for a link, set up a schedule, and we can talk about stuff. And I can show you my position on certain things that I agree with, certain things I disagree with. But I am not going to be talking about K Judah's wrong. I disagree. If he says things one way and I see things one way, you have to listen to both, and then you make up your mind how you see things. But remember, I'm always going to bring our culture into things. I'm always going to bring scripture first, bring Yah in the midst. When I see Yah, when it say, and Yah turned his heart, and Yah made this king do this, and Yah made this happen, and Yah made that happen, then you can't tell me it was no false or no, any type of ignorance in the midst of anything. Because when he's in the midst, and when he took that lion spirit, and y'all quote me on this scripture now, because y'all know I don't fire him off by heart. I have to find him real quick. What's that scripture where they put the lion spirit in the heart? Was that in Judges or Samuel? When he got the lion spirit and he put it in what's the name? One of the king's mouth. What scripture is that, K. Judah or Brother Darnell, Yohanan? Y'all know what I'm talking about. The lion spirit. I'm using this for an example to paint a picture to y'all. When he put that lion spirit, and they said, which one of y'all will come and put the lion, what's the name's mouth? Who was that, y'all? Top of my mind. If not, let me try to find it. But I'll give y'all a chance to try to find it, man. But if not, go back and do the research. Y'all know that scripture. No, it's not in Isaiah. It's not in Isaiah. It's either in Judges or it's either in Samuel, one of them. That's what it is. Done in 1 Kings. Let me go make sure so we can put it on the screen real quick. Thank you, my brother. Let me just make sure it's 1 Kings 22. Okay, boom, it's already up. All praise. Right here, right? And and it says, and Yah said unto him, wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lion spirit in the mouth of all the prophets. And he said, thou shalt persuade him and prevail. Now, if Yah can do that, let's equate everything to dealing with Yah in the midst of everything. If he could put a lion spirit in your mouth, in your mind, in your heart, then why would you think he would allow us to keep something false when he in the midst of these kings and turning them this way? When he turned the king of Persia, when we transitioned back into Israel, he turned him to let us practice the right way. Why would you think he would allow the scribes to get the book of the law, come back, reintroduce the law, start doing sacrifices again in Jerusalem, which we wasn't in Babylonian captivity no more. We came out and we were under the rule of the Persians, and he was in the midst when they was reading the law. When we read Ezra 7, 8, 9, he was in the midst of all that. Why would he say, hold up, we're not keeping no evening in the evening? That's a Babylonian custom, and strike the high priest down, because he's the one that know the law inside out. And if you're doing a false evening in the evening, then you're keeping the sacrifices false, because the temple was up. They had worked on the temple. Remember, Nehemiah built the wall. Y'all better study and read these. Stop letting these dudes teach y'all, telling y'all that we kept evening in the evening as a false Sabbath. Stop it. Do the research. Y'all was in the midst of all that whole transition. All right. Nanya B, that's a good thing, man. You know, thing about me, I got a forgiving heart. I don't hate my brother. I don't look at him as my brother like I used to look at him like my brother. When I say he's not my brother, I don't hate him. One thing I'm gonna tell you about Yashia is a top 5 teacher in my life. Number 1 in my life, because he taught me more than any of these other teachers. I'm gonna say this about him. Yeah, he's arrogant. Yeah, all the negative stuff he did was false to these sisters. That's why he had to be gone. All this stuff. But I'm gonna tell you something right now, and I stand on this. And one thing about me, I can beef with you like this because the way I am, but I can also tell you the truth. He is very sharp, very, very well studied. But he couldn't take my counsel as a bigger brother and as an elder, trying to show him how to deal with people. He's been locked up so long, 24 years. He don't realize that you can't deal with everybody how you deal with the men. You can't say things to women. You can't say stuff to people in the chat a certain way, the aggressive way, how you deliver. You can't sound puffed up and arrogant your teachings speak for themselves. I was counseling him the whole time behind the scenes, and he would not listen. Then he let other people get in his ear and tell him, I'm a false leader and all that. And guess what? None of them that said that would go live with me, because then I would have to air their dirty laundry out in front of everybody while I was correcting them. And that's why they consider I was a false leader, because I was correcting every last one of them who I had encounters with that don't like me, because they were doing things that wasn't right. And as a ministry, you have to correct them. Even me, I stand for correction. But if I ain't got the speck in my eye, I got a right to tell you about what you're doing wrong. If you asking me for letters to keep the Sabbath and you're not keeping the Sabbath, but I'm sending letters to your job so you can just have work on, that's false. I'm just using that as an example. Yes, it has happened before with members in my community. I'm not going to use nobody's name. I got pissed off for that. So again, that they call that bad leadership. That's why they gone. And if anybody else fellowship with me and I give you a letter and you ain't never had service, but you got off the Shabbat, how you think I'm supposed to feel with NHIF letter on letterhead on that, and they sitting in your HR and your manager them see you at the mall saying, I thought you keep the Sabbath on Saturday. Why you ain't in church? Why you ain't in service? They don't know. All they know. And now our name is on the letter, and we looking stupid. See, so these are the things I want to explain to you as leadership, and as that I did a teaching on this. It's right on my YouTube channel, the importance of leadership. It's all in scripture. I did a teaching on this, and they still denied it. So again, Anunya B, thank you for bringing that up. I do really love that brother, and I'm gracious for everything he taught me. But I don't think this can ever happen because of his pride. He was wrong. I wasn't. He was wrong. Number one, he was wrong with the wickedest things he did to the women. That's one. Two is he listened to everybody except me when it came to counsel. He know right now he can sit down and say, nobody went as hard studying with him, trying to build his channel. I don't care if he had a close relationship with whoever he got a close with. I was there for him 2 o'clock in the morning studying, getting information, he'll never find another Barawak like that. Maybe his teacher, but not nobody else in the midst of that NHIT or Tensor Shem. He'll never find another one like me. Devoted, that's like him. He's devoted to staying up all night and studying. We got that in common, me and him. He will eat culture up, history books, all that. He reads. He does. Me and him got that in common. But Nunya B, I just don't think it would ever happen because of his pride. He would have to come to me, and then he would have to repent to Yah in front of everybody because I banished him. He would have to repent what he did to them sisters openly in front of everybody. And then he would have to apologize to me. And guess what? He ain't about to do that. He told somebody that's why I'm mad at him and say he's not my brother. He told somebody that the only way he'll take me back if I apologize and repent. So, so again, I hate that we had to bring this back up, but at the same time, I do love him, but he's not my brother like how he was. And I don't think that can happen unless he go through all these steps, because he's a great teacher. And if he humbled himself, he ran a lot of people off the way he taught. So, that's why I private all his teach. We got 1,000 videos in our library. It only show 100 and something now. I took all his videos down, but I didn't delete them. I took every last one of them down except the ones that me and him is in together. You can go to the public library. We dealt with camps together. We dealt with other doctrines of rotates the Sabbath stuff. Just a lot of stuff we did and doing research and everything, man. So he's a great teacher, man. You just need to work on himself. Self-examination. And I'm going to play that song right now. And then after I play this one song, I'm going to play the ending song and I'm going to get off here. If I offended anybody, if y'all had the questions, I didn't want to get in no different topics or nothing today because I don't want this video to be that long going everywhere else. But I appreciate you, Nunya B, for that. And pray, I say I doubt, but I can't doubt Yah. if y'all getting the miss, maybe it could happen, you know. But I got the love, and I do still love him. I do, and I ain't gonna lie. Some days I miss him. I ain't gonna lie about that. Some days I do miss him because he would have been a greater asset, even more, if we wouldn't have never had this fallout. We would never happen. This never happened like this. The community would have even been stronger if he just took some of my counsel and advice, and he didn't. I'm built for this, man. So with that being said, I'm gonna play one song, then I'm gonna play another one, and Self-Examination is this song, and I love this song.
Self-examination. Shows our self-father, shows our faithfulness, shows that we covered or we jealous, been ungrateful kids. Shows our self-father, slothful or lazy niggas. Really at the end, clean your garment up, can't play with this. Shows ourselves, do we show love where your neighbor is? Get up off that bed, all that filthiness, can't lay with it. Trust up in his word, say your soul when you obeying it. Shows ourselves, Father, shows our selfness. Expose every idol in our heart, we ain't shelving it. Stripping out the hand of a sinner, we ain't helping it. Abba now approve us. Hold our stance, don't wanna move unless you move us. Measure our hearts and then walk you the ruler. Shows ourselves, Father, shows our gluttony. I can really love him and feel good when he cut me. Created me a clean heart, the cup really stuck with me. Grateful for the Savior, I'ma put my trust in thee. Do we really feel all his pain and his suffering? Angel visitation, every bone he was crushing me. Show us ourselves, Father, show us when we ugly. Show us about this pride, about this lust and what you want from me. Show us that we follow how we feel without your will. I ready to get cut now, then missing that holy heel. But don't take my ears, don't wanna be holy feel. But I wanna hear from your throne, I bow. Show you the way you supposed to be at holy mountain waiting. Righteousness is springing forth, we teach it to the nations. We gon' blow the trumpet, know he coming, being patient. Wanna do it right up in your eyes, did that self-examination. Are we ready for the king coming? Shelly find faith up in the earth, we ain't seen nothing. Players coming, bars coming, news coming, world war. The world out of order, really look at where this world going. The days of Noah, let this living water lift you up, these days is colder. We on this ark, we got the Lord the Father taking over. Psalm 19 and 20, Abba take them over. We know you control. The truth is what we fight for. I see my nation getting ready with the white robe. Know your word don't come by, boy, it ain't no typo. Self-examination, help me be the light more. Help me be the light. It's that self-examination. Self-examination, self-examination.
All praises, y'all. Definitely thank everybody for listening. I just want to say a quick prayer. Hallelujah. I thank you, Heavenly. Excuse me. I thank you, Heavenly Father, for the gathering together. I pray that I did not offend anyone in any type of way, Father. I pray that people looked at this video, subscribe to that channel, look at this video and look at the history of our ancestors, look at how they plotted and to take us into captivity. Start studying our history, our culture, our identity, and our language more, Father. I ask that everybody grow that way, because in that way we can show that who we are through our people and family members and friends. I pray that all my family members and everyone else in this chat listen to this video and see our point of view. I pray that we don't take what they see on the mainstream TVs and the news and these Christian apologists that are gatekeepers saying that we all are the same under the same umbrella, and we all are hate groups and cults and satanic worship and doing all these evil things, violating your law, Father, as bearing false witnesses on us. We are a ministry. We are a lot of other Hebrew Israelite communities, as well as my brother K. Judah's channel, that teach sound doctrine, that love Yah, that accept people, do not hate, whatever the differences is that we have in teachings that people can decipher through and understand, Father. We ask that everyone comes to you in supplication and prayer for what they learn, and stop taking things on face value of what anyone teaches, Father. Don't regurgitate it. Put it in your heart to open books up and read and study. Cross-examine this information. Do not just take one or two verses and run with a doctrine. That is not how you study. Put the spirit of studying habits in our families and friends here on Facebook and YouTube. Put the spirit of keeping the Sabbath right, not transgressing against you, Father, and being able to study and fellowship on the Sabbath instead of transgression on the Sabbath. Show us how to keep the feast days properly and not compromise with our family members for these events on these feast days. Put it in our hearts, Father, to have a clean heart, to walk right and to walk in love. We know, Father, at the end of the day, you're the judgment. You're the one that's going to open the books up in Revelations and decide who goes to hell or not. You're the one that's going to say, well done, or I never knew you. So let's stop pointing the fingers at who can be married and who can't, making that the media things instead of focusing on who we should be teaching and who we walk in love with and who we show love to. Let's stop all the backbiting and tail bearing and all the feeling some type of way because somebody disagrees with you. We should be able to love each other on disagreements. We should not have to be upset because someone agrees with this particular doctrine or someone disagrees with that. Let's have guidance as a unity, as family, right? And then give us the strength to not dislike each other because you disagree. The people that disagree with what was going on yesterday, Father, I ask that they listen to my position on what I see in the scriptures, because you never heard my position on it. The scriptures say, listen to a matter, hear out the matter, not one or two verses. Listen to my whole doctrine of why I believe what I believe before you make an assumption off a verse or two. This is not about knowing it all. This is about being students, including Ben Ayah, me, K. Judah, Brother Tim. It's about being students first. Learn how to relearn, recorrect, admit when you're wrong. Get these habits in your heart. Learn how to say, hey, I didn't see things that way. Let me go back and revisit. Stop trying to shine on our brothers and sisters, and we trying to act like we know more and we got the gospel and we got the unadulterated truth. Let's walk in love. Let's learn together. Let's relearn. Let's go back and look at some of the things. You're going to get coach over here. And if y'all continues to teach me and discernment to dig in these books and look for stuff, I'm going to bring our culture also to my sisters. And this is all respectful to the sisters. In the Israelite culture, it is not good to go back and forth with a man. That's our culture. That's our culture in Africa. That's our culture in Torah. If not, go get your husband. Go get your teacher and let him deal with the man. Disagree with him respectfully and move on. It's not our custom. My wife would never do that. So I ask all these things in Yeshua's name, HaMashiach, that we all build together. We all take this correction. We all learn together, and we all be able to understand when we're wrong and apologize when we make mistakes or when we speak against each other, instead of trying to backbite and talk bad about each other or get upset. Remove all these spirits, Father, out the way of the midst of NHIF, on K. Judah's channel, or on Brother Tim's channel. Learn how to agree and disagree. Learn how to be respectful when you disagree. And we ask you all these things in Yahweh's name and HaMashiach. Amen. All right. I love y'all, man. I really do. And again, if I offended anybody, I'm always trying to self-examine myself and always trying to do what's right. And I will definitely apologize to anybody in there. And if anybody finds that sister that left yesterday, you know, I called somebody yesterday. I want to say her name because I thought I offended her about how I answered something. I need to get clarity on Sister Lady, whatever her name was, that was what we was talking about. I need to find out if I offended her. And I'm praying that she comes back in with that teaching on the marriage thing. And I pray that she is not offended because trying to do that. I don't like arguing with women in the chat. I'm not on Facebook and none of that. If y'all follow me on Facebook, I just told a woman last night, you know, with all due respect, sis, she jumped on my back talking about we shouldn't be keeping the Sabbath on Saturday. I said, "Are you married?" And she didn't respond. I said, "If you're married and the teacher, respect. I definitely disagree. Go get your teacher or your husband, and I will have a conversation in front of you and live with him, in front of you, and so I can show him how I disagree." Then I gave him my channel and said, "We covered that same doctrine in the channel, dealing with the rotating Sabbath. It's ridiculous." But, you know, I wasn't going to go back and forth with her because women, you do that, they tendency when you get a little more aggressive, they feel like you being disrespectful. So it's our culture, especially if you speak to our ancestors in Africa. You never see an Igbo woman going back and forth with a man. It's not their culture. You won't see that in the Bible either. You don't when Abraham and all them, when y'all came with them people, his wife went and got the food cooked or whatever they did, and she stayed out the way. Don't get involved with these men on Facebook. Y'all got issues and y'all not covered. Come get me or K. Judah or whatever to deal with these. Then I'll jump in it. If you're not married, ain't got a covering, come get me or K. Judah. Because me, I love that type of stuff now. Don't get it twisted. Y'all attacking my sisters and all that, or the babes in the community, all that. We built for this. Go get them, especially what we teach. Even though me and K. Judah got our little differences, we agree with a lot of stuff too. So don't get that twisted, y'all. We agree with a lot. So please keep that in mind, sisters. Y'all be respectful with these brothers. That way y'all don't get disrespected. You know what I'm saying? That's our culture. That is our culture. You know. All right. With that being said, as my brother say, Ahava, love y'all with a pure heart. Y'all be blessed. Y'all have a good rest. And remember, next week is the Feast of Weeks. If you're keeping it, it's a back-to-back Sabbath. That means Friday, Saturday sunset is the weekly Sabbath. When Saturday starts, sunset, the Feast of Weeks starts Saturday to Sunday. Excuse me. So we're going to have a lot of food prep. So your mom will start prepping stuff now. You know, me and my wife thinking about it now. It'd be a long Sabbath, y'all. That's not, y'all take our whole weekend, but you know what? I'm happy for it. You know what I'm saying? I know one thing. I'm going to be on fellowshipping every day, every Shabbat that night, gathering together, whoever going to be keeping it. And even if you ain't keeping it, you know, the feast that week, still, we'll be live Saturday night about that. So Ben and y'all's going to do something Friday night, Saturday night. We're not going to have an afternoon service Saturday. I might do something. I might show this video Saturday afternoon, a 20-minute video like I did with this Saturday afternoon at 1:30. And then Beniyah's sunset Feast of Weeks start. He will be keeping the Feast of Weeks Saturday. He'll be doing a teaching on the Feast of Weeks. And we'll deal with that, family. So remember, a lie, when my brother Ron Dalton say, a lie will not outlive the truth. That's another person I love and got respect for, and I disagree with him on certain doctrines. And I met him personally, you know, but hey, I disagree with on some stuff. WHYDHA did one of the best teachers, the best teacher I ever seen with the maps based off that. So yeah, y'all got your blessings, and I respect everybody, and I pray that we all can learn together, man. Stop thinking that everybody going against you every time, because you may have not looked at all the scriptures in totality and all the manuscripts in totality to be saying something wrong. Be careful with that. I've ran into so many dudes running with the stuff and running with certain verses, and then they get trapped in certain questions that contradict what they're saying in scripture, and then they can't explain it. Be careful with that. Be very careful with that. Read everything. Go check everything, because there's certain things in there that sticks out. That's in any type of learning, man. I know this stuff because I experienced a lot of stuff as I grew. Be arguing. I don't know. I've been in a situation where I'm arguing about something somebody told me, and it was completely false because I didn't do enough research, and I'm standing on it. That's the most embarrassing thing. That's why I don't have no problem saying I don't know. That's one of the, when you're reading scholarship and understanding, reading comprehension context, one of the smartest things to say when somebody asks you something, if you don't know, I don't know. That doesn't mean you should, but that's what ignorant is. At one time in life, nobody in this chat knew what 2 + 2 was. Not one person in here could say, soon as I was born, I knew 2 + 2 was 4. You did not know. You had to be taught, and then it became a fact. Meditate on that. Shalom, man. Love y'all.
Nazarene Hebrew Institute of Faith, winning souls.